You'll notice I've got it on a low brace there, that's just sort of 3 or 4 inches. Should give us a better idea how it's flexing. And also the draw weight and draw length. I've taken a bit off here and there, just tidying up, easing off the outers, but basically let's have a look. It's always a bit nervy. Certainly looking more like a bow. And that's 70. Still looking a bit stiff here to me. Where I've been thinning the sapwood, I've left a bulge around here. There's a little spike of heartwood showing through, and the sapwood's lifting up there slightly, but I think that's where the draw knife snagged in. I'm a bit anxious about this knot, but the string line looked like the string wanted to be further towards the wall, which means it will be taking wood off this side, pushing the string that way, so removing wood from this side of the tip. That's looking quite encouraging. That was back to 70. I suppose I should get braver and pull it a bit further. You can see that it's moving more in the grip now. I have allowed it to do a bit more. Well, there's 80 at 24. See, she's coming. Oh, that right limb's certainly moving more. $85 at 25 from a low brace, so I think it's only about 23 before we've gained an inch or two of draw, and we're at a low brace, so we've got the bow's doing quite a lot more work. I can go and have a good look at that now, but I think we're sort of getting there now. But there's a sort of bit early on where you start off with a big stave and you know not much is happening, it's bending a bit, you can't really see what's going on. You can see if there's any obvious errors. You say, well, right, it's bending reasonably evenly, but then you start getting down 20, 21, 22, 24, and it's starting to come round a bit more. You can really see what's moving. We can see it is moving. I know I've taken quite a bit off here and there, so there's a distinct lump there where that knot is. I've probably overdone it, but it doesn't do any harm for safety, and it feels quite nice in the hand. A little bit stiff here, and I've been plugging the knots, doing bits and bobs. I've rammed some epoxy and Yew dust into this crater here. It looks a bit like an extinct volcano. Keep an eye on this area. Well, you can probably see we're quite a bit slimmer here. So now I'm going to take a bit off this side, try and push the string across that way a whisker. To it very, very much, because it's rather long. That tip nearest the camera, that has been narrowed quite a bit, and you can see where I haven't actually changed haven't shortened the bow. I filed in the groove for the stringer just this side of the actual string groove. I was thinking maybe shorten it a bit, but I can't see any real point unless to take the strain off here. I did look at the weapons of war book, and bows of round about the 32, 33, 34 millimetre width. They were out at 80 inches long. Some were shorter, some were 77, but so it's not an unusually long bow. Keep an eye open around here. Bearing in mind with the last bow an overzealous rasp of the belly using the farrier's rasp dropped me about £10, and looking at the figures from when I had it on the tiller, I reckon I'm about £20 overweight, so I gave it a good rasp with the farrier's rasp that should get me nearer. But while I was there, I also looked at a couple of bits. I took wood from this side, as I said I would at the tip, and I tried to ease off around this knot as much as I dare. And it's a compromise. If you've got it too thick and solid, you just carry in excess weight and it looks ugly as sin. You take off too much wood, you create a weak point and it breaks. But that's what I was meaning about the heartwood bulging through, where it was obviously a sort of pin knot. And you can see I've gone up a few rings trying to blend the sapwood into it. And I've got a reasonable width of sapwood, but obviously it's got zero thickness there, but there's quite a lot of thickness here, so it's all a bit touchy-feely. It's a matter of blending it in to try and make it look an interesting feature. If the worst comes to the worst, I can dig that out and put another, you know, like I did on the other knots, put a piece across there and rasp it all in to look nice. But because this is pretty solid here, there's no black manky stuff there, I'm reluctant to rasp it out. Similarly, that knot's pretty solid at the belly end, and some of that might disappear. That's one of the filled ones. And talking of knots that disappear off the side, this shows what I mean. As this is rounded, and bear in mind I've probably got another 10 to 15 pounds to come off, that will just fall off, that will disappear. That's the big filled one. It's getting worked down, more of this is showing. This one's virtually gone, that will just disappear when I take the corners off. So just about ready for another go on the tiller. You can doubtless see I've increased the brace height a bit more. Still not quite full brace. I've taken a bit more off here and there off the belly, rounded the corners. Boing. Not quite sure what's going to boing. Yeah. The outers are certainly working more. I don't know if it's just me, I think that's looking a bit stiff. I think the creaking the string in the knocks. It's pretty much ready for horn knocks now. Bang! It was 27 inches, 85 at 27, so that's another 2 inches we've gained. Yeah, I don't want to risk the string splitting out a knock or something, so I'll probably maybe do a little bit more work, but I'll be getting the horn knocks on soon. So there's not a lot of sapwood holding that knock on. So I mean, I wouldn't shoot it like that obviously, but I think we're about ready for the horn knocks now. I'll have a look at string alignment. There's a few wiggles and waggles in the bow. We're certainly getting close now anyway, and that's not far off a full brace. Probably tidy up the sapwood. You can see I've left a little bulge where that knot is, little swell on that left hand edge. Just adds a bit of character. Yeah, pleased with that.